Welcome and good morning. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Reports late last night that Manchester United are closing in on Brendan Rodgers. There's reportedly a release clause in the contract of the Northern Irishman that suggests if a Champions League club, a team in the Champions League comes knocking, there is a cheaper option to remove him from his said contract. And the reports claim that Manchester United will have no hesitation in breaking that release clause to bring him in to Manchester United Football Club. This amongst reports earlier on in the day yesterday that Manchester United have given a very short stay of execution to Gunnar Solskjaer, and essentially his sacking is a matter of when and not an if. Brendan Rodgers looks more and more likely to become the Manchester United manager. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings right now, just on the thought of it being Brendan Rodgers. Good, bad, or indifferent for Manchester United. I want your thoughts and feelings right now. Live viewers coming through now. Billy T, long time no see, Billy. I hope you are well, my friend. He says, Rodgers, another yes man, but a good manager wouldn't be my first choice. Good morning to Football Matters. Hope you're well. Good morning there to Slade. AS says Rodgers is class. Let's keep going for a bottle job. Rodgers to United. Wow, standards have dropped up there at United is what Georgie Foot, who is a Leicester fan, has got to say in relation to this news this morning. What else is on the agenda? Morning, Lee Chappie. Hope you, mate. Listen, if you're about Lee, send me a WhatsApp and I'll send you a link. I'd love to get your opinion on the Brendan Rodgers news. So, gonna go through it and kind of talk you through what it is they're saying. I'm just going to get the information up in front of me right now. But essentially, what was reported yesterday is that Man United are confident that Brendan Rodgers will be their next manager. That is the overarching factor. It says here that Man United are growing increasingly confident of making Brendan Rodgers their next manager. The report from Jeremy Cross claims that the Leicester boss, Brendan Rodgers, would find Man United almost impossible to turn down, and he is their top choice to succeed Gunnar Solskjaer if the under fire manager is sacked, according to reports, of course, from Jeremy Cross. Cross writes that the Man United bosses are keen to appoint a British boss should the club have no choice but to sack Gunnar Solskjaer. The Old Trafford Chiefs believe Rodgers would be keen to take the job, provided a deal can be struck with his club Leicester. He says Rodgers would be reluctant to leave the Foxes, but knows there is little more he can do realistically. Little more he can do realistically and achieve there, and would find the chance to manage United almost impossible to turn down. The article goes on to say it is believed that Man United wouldn't hesitate in meeting the release clause if they had to appoint the former Liverpool manager. The Red Devils have continued to show faith in Solskjaer and so far ignored calls for him to be sacked. It also goes on to claim that the Football Insider have also claimed this week that Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to be sacked by Man United if he does not gain an immediate response from his players and vast improvements in performances in the matches directly after the international break. That appears to be the overarching word, noise, and thoughts of the media in relation to this. But I do want your reactions. I do want your thoughts and your feelings on this matter. I really, really do. I want to know what you're thinking and what you're feeling about it. Comment here says Rodgers better than Ollie. Twisty says Rodgers can't be any worse, or can he? This is the point. No worries, Lee. I know about that, but I thought I'd ask anyway, just in case there've been some improvements in that area. Get well soon to your other half, mate. I hope she's feeling good soon. Football Matters says Rodgers is another Ollie yes man. We should have got Conte, no doubt. Angela Waits here says smacks of settling for not an upgrade and will not command respect. That is what Angela believes the situation here suggests. Does anybody think he'll get it? Who agrees with Angela? That's what I want to know. That's what I would love to know in terms of your thoughts and your feelings on this matter. Do you believe that he would command the respect and get the respect from this Manchester United squad? That's what I would like to know. I want to know what you think and what you feel about that. We're going to open up the lines for you to call in and have your say on this news. In other news this morning as well, very, very close. You know, we've spoke about this a number of times on the terrace this week, tweeted about it as well. Steven Gerrard to Aston Villa looks all but complete. A package of around £3 million of compensation is going to be paid to Rangers for Steven Gerrard and up to 4 members of his coaching staff to be instilled at Villa. Villa are confident that everything will be done by the end of the week, as per our tweet yesterday morning. This deal is now closing in. A lot of the big boys, a lot of the big journalists now reporting on the exact same news in relation to this. We'll take your calls on Steven Gerrard to Aston Villa as well if you want to come on and express your opinions. Rodgers is United's next manager. It does look like it. It does look like Brendan Rodgers is going to be the next Man United manager. At the moment, it feels like all roads point to him. It's just how it feels. There's no guarantees with Manchester United. They won't change their minds at the very last minute. But it looks as though that very much could be true. I am going to run a poll now, though, on this stream, the first part of the stream. Is Brendan Rodgers the right man for Man United? It's a simple yes or no question for me. I've just put that out into the live chat so you can have a go at that poll. My guy Frederick here, one of my squad members, put in a comment, says, why not go for Ralph Rangnick? He is my top target. A lot of people would like him to come in, if I'm being honest. I've seen a lot of people talk about him and a lot of people want him at Man United. McNelly here says Leicester should do everything they can do to get Potter. But that would be the irony of it. Man United will bring in Brendan Rodgers. Potters will go to Leicester and Leicester will be better than Man United. That's all. That almost feels like what would happen irrespective of what's going on. Wiz here says, this is flabbergasting. Everything above will be the same. We need to change every position above Ollie. Also, we need them out. Hashtag Glazers out. Man like Bash says, Terry Rodgers is a good manager, but not what United need. United need an elite manager at their club. Twisted here says, Terry, would United wait for Leicester to find a replacement for Rodgers? Potentially. Again, these contract clauses are always very, very complex. These contract clauses always have a number of stipulations in them. They, and often there can be gentlemen's agreements between football clubs. Let us find a replacement before we do the announcement. That might not be what Man United want, but it could speed things up, could make things easier. Especially as clubs do try their best to. Clubs will always try to do their best to maintain good relations with rivals or other clubs. Terry, what's your thoughts on Rodgers to United? I look at it this way. I've never been Brendan Rodgers' biggest fan. I've always said and maintained he's a top-class to world-class coach. How he sets his teams up, how he improves players, the style of football of which they play. I've always liked that from Brendan Rodgers, from watching him play, watching his Swansea, Liverpool. I didn't see too much of his Celtic team and his Leicester team. So I don't think there's any issues there with the coaching. I think Man United's football will certainly improve if he comes in. Where the question mark hangs over Brendan Rodgers, and it's a big question mark, how does he manage a team? Manage pressure? How does he manage the rotation of a squad? How does he manage the egos at any big club when you have people that want to win and want to deliver? That's still the big question for me that needs to be answered. However, my personal preference, I'm not pushing so much when it comes to this new appointment after Ollie goes and when Ollie goes, and he will be sacked this season. There's almost no shadow of a doubt around that. I'm at a point now and at a stage now where I don't know what will work at Man United because we've tried almost everything else. We've tried so many different directions, different styles, different approaches, and nothing has got us back to the promised land. So, last time we wanted someone red in their blood. Hasn't worked. Before that, we went for Jose. Didn't work. Before that, LVG didn't work. Before that, probably anybody following Fergie was going to fail. So yeah, I'm not overly excited, but I'm also not going to condemn it and be unyielding and give an absolute, he's going to flop, because I just don't know. Some people will guess he'll flop. Some people are going to guess he does well. 50% are going to be right. 50% are going to be wrong. I just want the club to try and make a positive stride forward as best they can. Right now, 57% do not think Rodgers is the right man for Manchester United Football Club. RDX says Tillemans to United. Who knows? These things can often follow one another. I'm going to share the link now for you to phone in. We didn't do any call-ins properly yesterday, but we will do that today on the terrace. I'm going to share the link in the live comment section. I want your thoughts on this story that's circulating about Brendan Rodgers potentially coming to Manchester United. Trending news out there. Link shared, link pinned into the live comment section as well. We're also running a competition at the moment on the Football Terrace. Let me give you a quick update on that. So we're running the secret phrase at the terrace. Phrases in the golden envelope. We are giving away a games console of your choice, either a PS5 or a brand new Xbox, plus a pair of Cristiano Ronaldo's Nike football boots. All you have to do to enter is, when you super chat in, have a guess at the secret phrase. Last month it was Fergie's Fledgling. It could be any kind of phrase within the game. On our streams, non-match reaction streams, if we hit 1,000 likes in the stream, we will give you a clue. So the more you share the streams, the more you like the streams, tweet about the streams, get people here, we will give out clues. And if you understand the clue and you get it right, potentially that's a PlayStation 5 and a brand new pair of Nike boots that we will get ordered and delivered to you. And I know a few people have said, oh, maybe I want a PS5, is out of stock in my part of the world. We'll get it pre-ordered for you from a place that allows you to do that. So when it comes back into stock, it's delivered, but you'll have a purchase order that you will see. We'll honor what we do for you because we are very loyal to our viewers. So get those super chats in if you want to enter this competition. Terry, are all yes men bottle job managers? I don't know. It's a good question, but I don't know, my friend. I will really see. Potentially, yes. I wouldn't necessarily say bottle job, but they're obviously not settling for the best. And if you're not settling for the best, then there's always the possibility that there'll be a problem there. Let's have a little look here at some more of these comments, then we're going to go to your calls. My guy JJ says, Terry, I think the Glazers have gone off big name managers like LVG and Jose, Conte, etc. They want someone they can mold. I think it's a good take there. Ray says, the way winning works, butting heads is part of the process, just longevity. That is the question. If David De Gea stays, you get a proper midfield rotation. It might be clear. So it's in the hands of the players right now. What I would say is this. I've often been accused of being a little bit forgiving of the Man United players. If we get a guy that comes in and coaches them well, I'll put more pressure on the players. I had a disagreement with Louis last night. I don't think Man United team is as weak or unbalanced or as kind of flimsy as some people are making it out to be. Never felt that. Don't agree with that at all. Could we do with a world-class CDM, holding midfield player? Yes. But is that suddenly going to take our team from looking like playing like we are now to playing like a world-class title challengers without a top manager, without a top coaching team around them? No, it isn't. And you know, the example I would give you is this. If you let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer manage this Liverpool team, this Chelsea team, this City team, that with their quality of player, their balance, they would fall apart as well. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Super chat here says, we've largely tried has-been managers and two managers who never should have been United managers. We need the next Klopp, Pep, Tuchel, Ten Hag. Yeah, look, that's probably, again, that's where my train of thought lies in terms of what I would most like to see. What I would most like to see Manchester United do is appoint someone who is world-class or who is on the brink of becoming world-class. Brendan Rodgers, I don't know if he's that guy. If Ten Hag, there's still question marks over him, but he's someone that's moving towards that direction. There's a gentleman that's currently managing in South America, and his name eludes me. A lot of people have said, oh, you should research him. I haven't done the research yet. again, there's no guarantees with that individual. What I would say is all the managers right now that you would say are world class, are any of them available? It does look like a no right now. But I get your point completely. Jaylings fam says, Terry, why is Ollie still on holiday? Weird. Well, they always said that he was going to be returning in the latter part of this week. So in terms of him going away at this point, at this moment, I agree. I think he's very, very weird. I think he's very, very weird. However, they said that he'd be away till the latter stages of this week. So him still being away right now, I think is fairly normal, I would say. I think it's fairly normal. Right, I'm going to do some calls this morning. First on the show, we're going to get Abby on to have his say on the terrace. Make sure that like button has been smashed. We're closing in towards the 200 marks on likes this morning, which is very, very nice of all of you. So please get that done. Abby's joining me first on the show to have his say today. Abby, welcome to the terrace, my friend. What do you want to say? Abby's not ready to speak. Are you there, Abby? No worries, my friend. We'll try somebody else. We'll try AKA Emperor on the line now. What you saying, bro?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. What do you want to say, my friend?
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the Brenda Rodgers issue. Like, why do you people really need him? Why don't you people go for someone that is way better? Like,
Who would you suggest? Who would you suggest?
like,
Oh, his signal's gone. Try calling back. Super chat here says this anybody better than Ollie argument assumes a comparison with Ollie, and Ollie isn't the quality of manager United should be comparing with. Yeah, I do kind of get. I get your point with that, and desperation breeds that, in my opinion, my friend. Terry, the guy is taking a holiday after stinking the place up. He should be on the training pitch, is what Maradon has got to say here. AKA is back with us. What you saying, mate? Yeah, who would be your managerial choice?
I think the best choice would be Ten Hag or Nagelsmann, but I don't think you guys can get Nagelsmann because he's in Bayern. But Ten Hag would have been the best choice. Like, I know Manchester United. I'm not a Manchester United fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. But I would have, if I was a Manchester United fan, I would think Manchester United is a big enough club to go for a team, for a coach like Ten Hag. Could pay his release clause. I think they can, right?
Yes. I mean, you can get, theoretically, you can get, if the manager wants to join, as long as you're willing to buy them out their contract, you can practically get any manager that you want to have, unless the club, well, they can refuse to let you speak. But then if you paid the manager the money to pay out his own contract, he could just buy himself, essentially sack himself and buy himself out. So there's always a way if you're willing to put the money forward. Yes.
Because I'm very surprised the way Manchester United are going through with all this, allowing a manager who is basically, I know he has gotten you to second, but there's no trophy. It's very strange that Manchester United have no trophy in the cabinet for how many years now, So I think you guys need to be, I think the board needs to be more, they need to have more fire, more drive to be able to get a coach who can, not even a coach, someone that can, because the players you people have, if I'm even saying that if people let Pogba go, if I was in control of Arsenal, I would give me Pogba. I would turn him into a next level Zidane, a great player, someone that could do something. Because you guys have the talent, you guys have the players, and you guys should be challenging for the trophy. So I think a better manager than Brendan Rodgers, because Brendan Rodgers, no offense to him, I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good manager. What he's doing at Leicester City is great to behold. But I think for a size like Manchester United, might still be the same result. It might even be worse than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Solskjaer is taking you to second. But Brendan Rodgers is just, maybe he might just get you there, but probably around the third and fourth position. And it's not where you guys want to be. You guys want to be winning the Champions League, challenging for the Premier League. And I think the only way for you guys to do is to get a better manager, or you guys start from scratch all over again. You know.
Yeah, listen, I hear what you're talking about, my friend, and that's the fear. Starting again from scratch is the biggest fear for me. Great call, my friend. Thanks for coming on the terrace and having your say. If you want to phone in this morning, the link is pinned to the live comment section of the show. We've got the competition running as well. You know all about that. Get them super chats in. There's a comment earlier I wanted to read from Fred. It said, Terry, assuming Ollie's sacked, what do you think his future over? Sorry. What do you think is his future? He'll probably manage again somewhere, but not at this level. He'll get a job nowhere near this level ever again, in my view. Nowhere near this level again. It just can't happen. Wiz here says Ten Hag is proving himself and has done for years in the Champions League. He took Ajax to the semis. He could be the new Klopp. It's 100% worth a risk. And I think a lot of people would agree with you that it's definitely worth a risk. It's definitely worth a risk. I don't think that can be denied by anyone, really. That's my view. I don't think it can be. Machiavelli here says Ragnick said something racist about Cater, which apparently that's one of the reasons. Oh, I didn't hear about that. I'd have to do some research on that, my friend, before understanding it. But fair enough. Thank you for sharing with me. Thank you. Comparing Ten Hag to Rodgers is just funny, is what David's got to say. Terry, what's the Glazers' thought process behind appointing Rodgers? We don't know, mate. Maybe it is the yes man thing. Maybe he's more agreeable and they're happy with that. Maybe it's part of the longer term thinking. Maybe they think he is the guy to make Man United competitive again. Let's just see. As I said, I'm almost at a point where I have my thoughts, my feelings, and my preferences, but I'm not going to make any sweeping predictions about the new Man United manager. It's just impossible now. My heart says it's more likely to fail than be successful because this regime has picked 4 failed managers on the bounce. So the strike rate is they're 0-4. So I don't really care who they pick. I'm not confident whoever they pick is going to be successful in the medium to long term because there is no club plan. There is no club plan at all. Young Tommy's coming on the show now to have his say. Morning, Tommy. What you saying, mate?
I'm fine, Terry. You?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. What do you want to say? Obviously, 2 big bits of news this morning. Gerrard to Aston Villa, pretty much a done deal. Rodgers to Man United, reportedly closing in with Ollie's job looking in the balance. What's your thoughts, mate?
Gerrard to Aston Villa. I think it'll be a good move for him. I like Steven Gerrard. I think he's a good manager. He's done well with Rangers. I think into Aston Villa, I think he'll do a good job. He'll get them winning a lot of football games, playing better football as well. So I think he'll do good. Brendan Rodgers to Man United. I like Brendan Rodgers, but like you said, he's a bottler. Because how can you bottle top 4 twice with a good Leicester team? I get that they had injuries, but twice in a row, that's poor from him and poor from Leicester City twice. But with Man United, it's an improvement. But can he win you the league? I don't think he can win you the league because he's not that manager that can win you league titles. Yeah, he did it in Celtic, but Scottish football is different to the Premier League. And sometimes I don't really watch Scottish football. I watch it sometimes, but not all the time. But I don't think he can win you the league. So it's an improvement, but I get why you don't want him and Man United fans don't want him because he's a bottler. Like he bottled the league with Liverpool in 2014. Yeah, it's not his fault Gerrard slip, I don't know, but you bottled it like 7 years ago. So he's a good manager. I wanted him at Arsenal after because Wenger stayed too long for me. Wenger should have left. I wanted him after when Wenger should have stepped down, but he's still a good man. But I don't even know I don't think Man United is. I don't think he's the right guy for you because he's not going to win you the league. You need someone like a Ten Hag or a Luis Enrique. You should have got Conte, but obviously Tottenham beat you to it, even beat us into it because I wanted Conte as well. But yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers. I think he's a good. He's clear of Ollie, but I just don't think. I just think Man United. I think he's not really the best fit for Man United because he just collapsed time after time. He's got a bottling problem. He needs to work on it. It's just time after time. He crumbles when it comes to the end of the season. and all that. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool had injuries last season. Klopp doesn't crumble. They finished third when they had injuries. Because Klopp doesn't crumble. Other man, Guardiola doesn't crumble. Tuchel, Luis Enrique, even Ancelotti doesn't crumble. But he's an upgrade to you. But I just don't think he'll be good enough for Man United Football Club.
A lot of people agree with you on that, Tommy. Listen, thanks for calling in, mate, and having your say. Top man. Thank you.
Anytime, Terry.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. I think, what Tommy's saying, I understand completely. There are massive reservations. Sharik here says, morning, Terry. Don't have a good feeling about Rodgers. And I think a lot of Man United fans are in that sort of space where there isn't a great feeling. However, and I'm going to counteract this to be slightly positive in these times of doom, I was very positive about LVG and Jose. In fact, in the early days, I was very positive about Ollie. I gave Ollie a lot of benefits of the doubt, not because of him, but because of the story that was behind him of rebuilds and processes and building an ethos that would supersede any manager. That's turned out to be a lie. So that's no longer a thought process I follow at all, in my view, or it feels like it's a lie. So now it's just, let's see who they pick and let's see how it works. Whatever manager we pick, there's going to be big pros and big cons from particular people. We have no idea whether it's going to work under this regime, but it's more than likely to fail based on past, like your record, your history. It's not great times. I do want to take some calls and hear your thoughts on Steven Gerrard to Aston Villa as well. That's practically over the line now. That's going to be announced at some point in the next 48 hours. Love your content, but Terry, you would attack Ollie out as calling them a mob. I'm sorry, but you actually deserve Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for as long as possible. So when it comes to calling people a mob, anyone abusing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, making up lies about him, calling him nasty names, being overtly aggressive, I still call them a mob. There's no reason to get like that. There's no reason to behave like that. The one thing I'd say about Ollie, his head's gone now. I would say this season, very different to other moments of troubles where he's making crazy decisions and it's gone. But there's still a difference between saying Ollie should be sacked and calling Ollie a see you next Tuesday, calling Ollie a scumbag, calling Ollie all these different things. And it was a mob-like mentality. It just so happens that this time round, the mob was right about his ability. But if you go back to everything I ever said when talking to these guys, I didn't agree with every point of the Ollie out group, but I agree with their overarching view that he was never going to be good enough to win us the major trophies. My train of thought, along with a number of other Man United fans, was we're being told the club is building something behind the scenes that Ollie is leading up. My judgment was going to come at these very moments. When we hit the adversity area, who do we go for? How much of an over? Again, I'm feeling like 80% of what they sold us is a lie. If Brendan Rodgers or whoever comes in and there isn't a massive squad overhaul and it's one or two players being added and we just see a quick, fast improvement, then maybe I change my mind again. Maybe my mind is maybe there was a plan all along. And this whole delaying of sacking Ollie was just securing the right person to pick up the baton and move it forward. Therefore, keeping Ollie as long as we did, maybe not in this, I'd like them to have gone earlier this season, makes sense because they needed to build that foundation for someone to continue from. However, as it stands right now, I do believe we'll go in a new direction. There'll be another big overhaul and rebuild. And that's what I'm more fearful of than Ollie staying at the club, because that is the road to ruin, in my view. So yes, the being Ollie in and Ollie out was always too key stage 1 and too basic for me in that regard, because a lot more, I've always been focused on what the club has been doing behind the scenes far more than I was focused on what was happening on the football pitch. They've told us everything behind the scenes is bang on. So there's no reason to keep the manager. They're keeping the manager for a reason unknown to us. And I think that's because they have no plan behind the scenes. But I truly hope, and thank you for this super chat, one of the best super chat challenges towards me I've had in a long time. I hope and pray there's been a plan, but I think we've delayed the sacking of Ollie because there is none. And if there is no plan, that means this whole rebuild thing was nonsense. That's my focus more than any manager, because that's the reason why we're not going to become successful again. on the football pitch. But thank you for that super chat, buddy. And remember, if you're super chatting, have a guess at the secret phrase. You might win yourself a PlayStation 5, my friend. Get that done. Stephen here says, ridiculous. We all love Ollie. He has tried his best and took us as far as he can. He loves the club. We need to change now with a top replacement. Say Zidane if possible, is what Stephen's got to say. Matri here says, Klopp is a good manager, but Liverpool are also a good run club. We can't say the same for Rodgers would succeed at United when the club itself is run like a shit show. Cedric here says, winning the FA Cup, and he is called a flop. Taking an inferior team into the top 4 contenders, and he is called a flop. Winning the league in Scotland, and he is called a flop. Sounds like Fergie, is what Cedric's got to say here. Next on the show this morning, I'm going to go to Andrew. Andrew Simon is with us. What do you want to say, Andrew?
Good morning to you in UK. Yeah, it's a pretty tough, week for Man United. I support this club from 2018. I mean, Jose Mourinho's time. It's very worse than that. It's like worse than Solskjaer. I mean, well, what else can we do? I mean, the owners are incompetent to the core. It's a really.
So I want to get your opinion. I mean, in terms of Brendan Rodgers, do you think he's a good enough appointment for Manchester United?
Yeah, it is in a sense. I mean, you could take anyone over Ollie right now. Even if he is a Liverpool, manager, I would take him over Ollie. But is he a good fit? That's a question mark, which I would put. But you'll always have this divide in our fan base. Brendan Rodgers out and Rodgers in. So yeah, it's like that. The Glazers want this.
Yeah, I hear you, and that will be the next. And that you're absolutely right, Andrew. It's a very great point. Thank you very much for calling in, my friend. Andrew makes a brilliant point there. There'll be a new argument soon. There will be a definite new argument, and the focus will be on whether Brendan Rodgers is good enough, and it will be Brendan Rodgers in, Brendan Rodgers out. Is he a bottle job? Is he not? Is he a good enough coach versus a good enough manager? Is he getting the best out of people's favorite players? Oh, he's dropping Bruno, but scoring less goals. Oh, he's still playing McTominay. Oh, he's turned Varane into this. People will start focusing on the manager again. And that is the wrong focus. As I said a few moments ago, Terry, why were you always against the Ollie out crew? It was never some of the ways they spoke about Ollie, I will never agree with. Some of the words they used, some of the disrespect, some of the nasty things they said about him, I won't ever side with. Their overarching point of Ollie not being good enough to get us back to winning Premier Leagues, I always agreed with. But my focus was always the running of the football club. People interpret you're focusing on the board and the people at the core of the club as you defending Ollie. The same as when you condemn a manager, some people say you're not condemning, you're defending the players too much. It's a knock-on effect. But Andrew was absolutely right in his call there. Man United fans will suddenly focus on the new manager, whether he's right or wrong. This plays into the Glazers' hands because suddenly the focus isn't on them. Suddenly there'll be easily a 12-month period when nobody is looking at the way the club is being operated. It just becomes a side dish. That side dish that no one touches and goes a little bit cold until the shit hits the fan again. And then suddenly everybody cares about the running of the football club, the management of the football club. That has to be the sole focus through this process when the new manager is appointed. It has to be. If Brendan Rodgers comes in and there is suddenly these big calls for a mass overhaul of players, United are in trouble. Man United are in trouble. It means the last 3.5 years has been a waste. All that money has been a waste. It's been hemorrhaged. And that's been the biggest bugbear a lot of Man United fans have with this ownership. They spend money, but it's all short-lived. No long-term thinking as a club. And yes, it's impossible to create, in my opinion, a Fergie-like era with one manager. But you can still create a strong era and period by having a club plan that head coaches come in and fit fit into as and when you need them. They become a plug-and-play solution at the football club. Man United are not there, in my opinion. Red Wolf says, not sure United will go after an experienced manager. They seem like the idea of having legends in to drive the revenue up. Also, is the phrase, you're good, but not good enough. Good guess at the phrase there. That isn't the phrase, my friend, but good attempt at trying to get that right. Thank you very much indeed. Next on the show, I want to speak to Bash. Bash is here with us. What you saying, bro?
Good morning, Terry. It's 4 o'clock in the morning in Houston, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you for calling in. So late for you as well, but thank you, buddy.
No problem, no problem. Listen, Terry, you were spot on, spot on. It was my opinion. Manchester United needs an elite manager. The reason is that a lot of people say Ten Hag. Ten Hag is a good manager, yes, but he's in a well-run club. The whole system is good. It's good for him, for the first team, for the youth team, for everything. If he comes, I agree with you. I do not trust the Manchester United owners to get the right manager because they are not well run. Because I don't think they will say, they sit down, they will say, okay, we need a manager to win the leagues. I don't think they will do that. That's why for me, Ten Hag, he's not even good for Manchester United. Brendan Rodgers, the same. Manchester United need an elite manager like Conte, like the ex-Mourinho, not this Mourinho, like Allegri. These guys, they have the personality. They come to the club, they will say, listen, I will manage everything. I will get my staff. I need my idea. I remember, Terry, when Mourinho came to Inter Milan. Inter Milan had an amazing owner, Moratti. I love him. He brought us trophies, triples, Champions League, everything. Why? Because he said, I want to win. This is my team. I love my team. I want to win. Get me an elite manager. He got Mourinho. He told him, you have everything. Mourinho came. He flipped the club. Everything. He took his staff. He sacked a lot of people. He did whatever he wanted. They got him the place that he wanted. He managed the club, and we won the treble in 2 years. We won 4 trophies in 1 year. That's what Manchester United need. To be honest, I agree with you. I do not trust the owners of Manchester United to say, hey, come, we want to win everything. We want to win everything. Do whatever it takes, and we will give you everything. I don't trust Manchester United owners to do that. So Brendan Rodgers will come. He's a yes man. Yes, he's a good manager, but the whole system is not good enough. Ten Hag, he will come to a different league. Do we give him everything that he needs? I don't think so. I think Manchester United need a Zidane. A Zidane, he has a personality. He won 3 Champions League and he left. There's no that attachment, or let's say he comes, he gets his staff, he wants to put his idea. Tuchel, club, Pep, they all did that. Do you think that the owners talk to Pep? I don't think so. Pep, he will say, shut up, I will do whatever. I'm the king here. That's what Manchester United needs. And you are spot on. I do not trust these owners to get the right manager, no matter who. So, yeah.
Yeah, listen, I completely and utterly agree with you. I completely agree with what you're saying. And until that structure's right, the club is, and that's why when people say to me, Terry, you need to condemn your players more, you need to condemn the manager more, I just can't be. It's those things have all been condemned and recycled 2 or 3 times, 4 times with managers. Our squad's been recycled, and we're still in the same. We're still in the same place. So anybody focusing more on players and managers than the running of this football club, I'm not going to say they deserve this, but you deserve it. You deserve it, because you're not focusing on the real problems, and until we focus on those proper problems, it's going to be very, very easy for this ownership to get away with things. Listen, great call, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it, bro. Big breaking news just in. Steven Gerrard has been officially announced by Aston Villa as their new manager. It's funny, actually. I spoke with somebody about 1 o'clock in the morning, and they said that things were very close to happening. This morning, I had a text. I woke up and he said, look, negotiations for the package happened overnight. Clearly, there was breakthroughs overnight in that happening. Gerrard is now the new Aston Villa manager. I want your take on that. I want your thoughts, and I want your feelings on that as well. I want to know what you think and feel He is the new manager. Will he succeed in the Premier League? That's the big question I want to know now. We'll obviously delve into that more later on this evening on the Bet Victor show when that comes out. Very, very excited about it. Always excited about the Bet Victor Top 6 show. Our biggest show ever on Monday. Over 80,000 views, which was absolutely astronomical. So thank you to each. In fact, 82,000 views, which was amazing. So thank you to everybody that tuned in on Monday. Kai here. Obviously, we know Kai, big Chelsea fan. He's here to have his say. What's on your mind, bro?
Hey, Terry. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm very well. Footballing wise, I'm not, but in life, I'm good.
Yeah, I feel it.
What are you here to speak about, bro?
The Steven Gerrard appointment at Villa. I think it's a very good appointment. I think that's what Lampard should have done instead of going because if you look at it objectively, if you look at the competitiveness of the Premier League compared to Rangers and Villa are not that far apart. Yeah, of course, of history-wise, and you can talk blah, 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 but competition-wise. So I think he made a little bit of an upgrade. I know Ranger fans will hate me for it, but the competition in the Premier League is much, much, much more difficult than it is in the Scottish League. Mm-hmm. So it will be interesting to see what is he going to do. I think he's good. I think Steve Gerrard is a better manager than Lampard a little bit. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to see what kind of players he's going to bring in. What sort of style he's going to play, but it's going to be interesting. And in regards to United, I think you guys have reached the cycle that a lot of you have been waiting for. I don't think he will be here till the end of the season, if I'm honest.
Yeah, a lot of rivals keep saying he will be. He's not going anywhere. I disagree. I'm like you. I do believe it's a matter now of when, not if. What do you think, Man? What do you think's delaying it? Why do you think Man United have kept him so long, in your opinion?
I think it's just because they made a mistake and signed him to a new contract. And a lot of people would look at it. You guys always say that you have bankers running the club. So imagine a banker just giving away 20 million. Was it 20 million that they have to give away in compensations?
Plus, it's about 7 to 8 million they've got to give away. Plus, they've got to sign a new manager. So it's massive. Yeah.
So that's probably why they're kind of. But if you keep putting in the damage and top four is going to start being in jeopardy, then I think they're going to put 1+1. Also, they're not going to risk it. It's too much of a risk to keep him then.
No, I agree. I think it will come. It's just my fear is a bit. Look, if you look at yourselves last season, and I looked at this the whole time when it comes to Chelsea.
Yeah,
you left it too late in terms of the title race, but obviously you were still in the top four hunt. And you were in the Champions League. My only fear about waiting is that we lose to Villarreal and practically go out the Champions League and then drop points to Watford and then lose to you guys and Arsenal. And then suddenly by then we could be 8-9 points away from the top four and out of the Champions League. And you think it's just a write-off, and I'm not Brendan Rodgers' biggest fan, but I do feel with our quality of squad, if he came in 3 or 4 weeks ago, if he was the Man United manager already, I think he gets us playing good enough football to make the top four. And you never know in cup competitions. You've always got a chance. You've always got a chance of doing it. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. In terms of Chelsea, it is
criminal with United. Yeah.
In terms of Chelsea, I wanted to ask you actually. There's a lot of people still writing Chelsea off for this title, overlooking you. City are favourites, Liverpool are favourites. How confident are you of bringing it home this year?
Oh, Terry, you put him on the spot, man. I think Chelsea, Liverpool fan needs to pipe down, man. They're basically a historical Leicester. I said it many times. I said it on the terrace last year that they want to win the league and they were chatting, blah, blah, blah. They barely got into the top four. And let's be honest. City, I respect them. Multiple-time Premier League champions. But I'm sorry, man. If Liverpool are favored, then so are Chelsea. Because at the end of the day, right now, we're still the kings of the jungle, man. We're still top of the league, man. So if we have as much as chance as anybody, because also we have the experience to win Premier Leagues, just like City. But Liverpool, they won one Premier League, and they couldn't repeat it. And for me, until you hold one back to back, you're not a great Premier League side.
There we go. Listen, Kai, thanks very much for coming on and having your say, mate. Really appreciate it, bro. Top man. Bro. Thank you. Do me a big favor, please, people. Smash that like button for us this morning. You can get your super chats in to guess the secret phrase. The secret phrase, we're not going to tell you it. You can win a brand new PlayStation 5 and a pair of Cristiano Ronaldo's Nike football boots. Make sure you go and get that done. right about now if you want to enter that competition. Don't stand on ceremony, my people. Next up, Ads is here. Ads is a Liverpool fan. Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard announced as the new head coach, not manager, head coach of Aston Villa. What are you saying, mate?
Yes, Terry. Thanks for having me back on again, man. Listen, I'm happy about this news, man. Stevie's doing it the right way. You see, we look at Arteta, who's not doing that bad, but we could see how much he suffered in the beginning just because he was learning on the job. We could see Ole, great example, suffering on the job because he's not gone out and got that experience. We can see the likes of Lampard came into Chelsea and just couldn't cut it at that elite level. Now, a lot of Liverpool fans, some will love this and some won't. The idea is after Klopp goes, I believe Stevie will be the next manager. I see that appointment happening. But in order to achieve that, Gerrard needs to go out there and get the experience. And he started off with the youth team, gone to Rangers and done brilliant over there, in my opinion. I know some people would say Europe and that, but to me, what he did in terms of dethroning Celtic over there was excellent. But you need to keep progressing, keep challenging yourself. And I always wanted to see him with a team at mid-table in the Premier League and see what he can do from there. And the Villa opportunity is presented, and he's taking it with both arms. I'm so happy for Stevie because, you know, he could have stayed in Rangers and waited to the end of the season and gone from there and probably won that league again. But listen, the ambition is clear with Gerrard, and we know this as fans because this is the reason we love him. He wants to achieve, and this is the reason he's going to come to Aston Villa, and I'm sure he will be a success. And it is inevitable, even though some Liverpool fans don't want to hear it. He will be, I'm hoping, the next Liverpool manager. But I am hoping that by the time that situation does come around, he has proven he is capable of doing the job. If he is not capable of doing the job, we don't want to hire him like an Ole situation. And this is where it becomes a bit tricky because when you have managers that are legends at clubs, but they haven't got the CV to back it up, and they go into these big jobs, you have a predicament like Chelsea with Lampard, where half of the fan base are divided that they want him out, and the other half, because of the loyalty, don't want him out. You have a situation with Ole that has changed now, where for a long period of time, a lot of Ole fans were Ole in and Ole out, but that's because he is a legend at the club. If your manager has the credentials and have built their way up through the system the right way, like Stevie's doing at the moment, hopefully you don't have those issues later on down the line. So I'm very happy for Stevie. You know, the agenda's always running on him. He ain't won that Prem. We're going to have to count the Prem when he does win it with Liverpool eventually as well. So I'm looking forward to it. And that Chelsea guy, it's good to see we're still living rent-free in their head as well. So, hey, we push on again.
Listen, great call, Ads. Thanks for coming on the show and having your say. Top man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Do you know what I find interesting is with Stevie G, he needed something between Rangers and Liverpool. It's a 2.5-year deal. Klopp has 2.5 years left. He's clearly putting in a position to prove himself ready for that Liverpool job, in my view. There's no guarantees of that Liverpool job, though, which is why he needs to progress. Who knows where Liverpool are in 2.5 years? Who knows where Villa and Gerrard are in 2.5 years? If he doesn't do well at Villa and he completely flops, he won't become the new Liverpool manager. If he kills it, top 6 finishes, great cup runs, beautiful football, resolute, strong at the back approach, he'll be a prime candidate. Equally, though, Liverpool are an impeccably run football club. They will not appoint Gerrard out of sentiment. They will appoint Gerrard as somebody they see as a genuine successor to Jurgen Klopp. If he isn't ready to succeed Jurgen Klopp, they won't pick him. So it's going to be an intriguing next 2.5 years. But as of right now, he's the Villa manager. Good luck to him. On a man-to-man level, good luck. As a Man United fan, I don't want him to succeed. Someone said to me yesterday, why would I want him to flop? Always, you've got to play 4D chess here. If Klopp kills it and is amazing, then there's a successor to Klopp. As a Man United fan, I don't want anything to do with Liverpool to be successful because in the end, it's going to benefit them. So I wouldn't want to. Daily Smith here says, phrase, can't win anything with kids. I believe United need to be brave with an appointment and try and buy Ancelotti out of his Real Madrid contract. Hard, but doable. Daily, excellent attempt at the secret phrase. It isn't, I'm afraid. It isn't. You can't win anything with kids. But thank you very much for your guests on the terrace this morning. What else is going on in the comments here? Pep Guardiola, the greatest manager of all time, says Lampard is going to be the next Norwich manager, in my opinion. And again, that size of club is exactly where he should have gone. In fact, I think Lampard should have done another year at Derby, and then maybe tried his hand at a slightly bigger club or a club on a bigger stage, done another couple of years there, and then looked at, I mean, the Chelsea job just came too soon for him, far too soon for him. You know, you've got to, things when you, in any walk of life, you've got to cut your teeth, you've got to make your mistakes. But when you're cutting your teeth and you're learning your trade at the highest echelons of the game, when it goes wrong dramatically, and everybody's there to see it. And that's all that went wrong with him. That really is all that went wrong with him in relation to that. There we go. There's someone wants me to go check out a tweet here. I've been sent to a tweet. I know that account well. What they put out here. There is a growing feeling that Rudiger will depart Chelsea. That's an interesting one. Well, that can come up tonight on the BV show. We can delve into that. Yeah, both the Rudiger and the Christensen deals both appear to be like that at Chelsea. But yeah, we'll definitely touch on that a little bit later on today. We'll have a little look at that. Terry, he will not flop. He will not kill. He will be fine at Villa, and he will come to Liverpool in 2024. My prediction. Last one is 100%. Terry, how would you measure success for Rodgers at United realistically? Better football, competitive in title challenges, competitive in the Champions League, and then over a 3 to 5 year period, you've got to be picking up trophies within that. That for me is the minimum standards. The minimum standards for any manager coming in. To this great football club. And if that isn't what we're achieving, then as a club, we are underachieving. Whether or not you put all that blame on the manager, the players, the board, everyone's got a preference on that, but that has to be the standard. But Terry, you praise Lampard saying he is the best English manager. I don't think I ever said he was the best English manager. I said he was one of the best up-and-coming English managers. And I stand by that. That doesn't fly in the face of what I've just said. Chelsea was too early in his career. It doesn't mean all the mistakes he made with the man management of people. If you speak to Fergie, read Fergie's books about the mistakes he made in his early years as a manager. He wasn't doing that at Man United when they were at the peak of their powers for the whole world and its media to rip apart and scrutinize. He made those mistakes in his fledgling years. Gerrard has been up there in Scotland without any of us overtly focusing on what he's doing. He'll have made mistakes, but nobody's really been looking. If he's imagine Gerrard did a year at Rangers and then took over from Jurgen Klopp, it'd be far too early and a much bigger chance of his early apprentice-like mistakes coming through. It's like anything, bro. If you're a builder, let's just say you're a plumber and you're an apprentice and you're learning your trade. If somebody puts you in charge of completely plumbing and fitting all the gasworks into a brand new, 60 apartment block building, and you're solely responsible for the installation and overseeing it all, you're going to make mistakes because you're still cutting your teeth. The person that oversees it and is in charge needs to be a seasoned pro with experience of working to that degree and at that level. The same things for football. You can't throw a fledgling in. Doesn't mean he hasn't got qualities. Doesn't mean he can't become great. Doesn't mean he's a bad manager. It was just too soon, just far too soon, which is why it's taken Arteta longer to get things right at Arsenal, because he's cutting his teeth. He's cutting his teeth. That's all it comes down to, bro. That's what it comes down to. Terry's going to tell us how to lay pipe. I don't. A couple of my brothers work in that industry, so they do. Matt's with us now. Matt's a Chelsea fan. What do you want to say, Matt?
Yo, big up Terry. Ooh, yeah. Big up, Terry. I just want to come on and talk about the Lampard situation you were just talking about and kind of add on to that point. And I think you're 100% right. I mean, he had no time at Chelsea. You know, I personally do think Lampard was a massive mistake at Chelsea. I was never a big fan of Lampard at Chelsea, but I do think he can possibly succeed at Norwich. You know, we've got Billy Gilmore on loan, if you guys don't know, probably Norwich best player right there. He's unbelievable. You know, they've got a horrible team, but Billy Gilmore is there probably carrying the team right now. And I do think they have a great connection, Frank and Gilmore. So I do think coming into Norwich be a fantastic integration for him. Unfortunately, I don't want to see him back at Chelsea. I think his time's up at Chelsea, but he do has some talents. Obviously, again, I'm going to repeat myself. Chelsea at Lampard was horrible. I never want to see that again. I'm haunted by of what he did to the club, unfortunately, but I'm going to respect the guy. Massive player, fantastic player, but I hope he does well at Norwich if he ever goes there.
Do you know what's interesting? What's nice about Chelsea is that, say Lampard went and does 3 years at Norwich and does really well, and then he goes over and takes over. I'm just going to West Ham are in the Champions League, and he takes over there and does really well. And then maybe I'm just throwing this out there. Then he goes to Inter Milan and he wins them a Champions League and whatever. And then Chelsea need a new manager. You guys would look at Lampard again, though, in the sense of if he proved himself to be world class and elite.
That's true.
And he could show Roman, look, I've learned from those mistakes. I no longer manage players in that way. I'm better at this. Look at my record. You guys would bring him back. That's what I like about Chelsea. It's almost the door's never completely closed if you can prove that you're good enough. You know, nobody would ever expected Jose to return, and he did. And he won you another league title. That fell apart again, but then they moved him on again. And, you know, that's what I kind of like about your football club, that the door is shut, but it isn't. But it's closed, but it can be reopened again if Lampard can prove that he's of elite enough level. I think Chelsea are a kind of football club where they'd say, we don't really care who you've managed in the past. We don't care about your history with us in the past. If you're good enough now to yield us results and yield us that league title, they'll do it. And I'm not saying he will get back to that level, but I think that the Norwich levels, the Villa levels are perfect for the Lampards and Gerrards to show what they're really about. And this is when you'll get an idea. Because listen, Gerrard could legitimately be in line for a massive job in 2.5 years' time. Equally, in 2.5 years' time, he could be in League One. This is
if he continues that play style he does, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and everyone's going to have an opinion, and I respect everyone's opinion. The point blank thing is, I've been watching football too long, and I'm not meaning this horribly to youngsters. I've been watching football too young. I've seen so many managers. It wasn't too many years ago in the Prem that Owen Coyle, when he came up with when he was at Bolton, was looked at as being the star. It was like, oh, this guy's going to take over from Wenger. He's going to be this. Martin O'Neill was meant to be the next world-class manager. I've seen so many tipped to be superstars and foul. And I've seen loads become really good that nobody expected. So from my point of view, I'm really intrigued to see how these two boys do back in the Prem.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm looking forward to see Gerrard. I mean, I was watching Gerrard Rangers last season. They went, like, that's an unbelievable stat when you really think about it. But I do, and I'm going to endorse this again. You know, a lot of people saying, how was Lampard bad? How was Lampard bad? The tactics, the style he played. I wasn't a big fan of it. But I want to get this back to you as well, Terry. You know, you were saying about before how about, you know, he can come up again and you know, Lampard, you know, he can possibly come up. Is it the same possibly with Ollie as well? Because if you let Ollie have time, you know, would he possibly come out and do bits if he has time?
I think the reason I would say no, my reason for wanting to say no, is he's been managing for over 10, 13 years now. I think about 13 years. So he isn't as early in his stages as those two are. Now, yes, he was appointed and given an opportunity at Manchester United, and it was still in the early stages of that. You needed to give him time at this level to prove himself. He could come back. I just don't think he will. I think it's a bit like if you're a young boxer and you get an early shot at a world title that's unexpected and you lose, you've still got time in your career to build yourself back up and fight for a world title again. If you're a fighter who's 31, 32, you've been around a long time and you get your world title shot and you mess it up, it's highly unlikely you get another one. So I think the stage of his career that Solskjaer is at, this was his chance. And one of the reasons that Solskjaer, though, is also struggling is he managed, there's been nothing between Mould and Man United. If he would have slowly built up his levels, maybe he'd be ready for this. And I think that's the one thing. You look at a lot of the managers who have managed at the elite level, a handful, Pep, Zidane, went straight in at big jobs and did well. The majority, though, look at their CVs. They slowly build themselves up to those jobs. The Peps and the Zidans are rarities. The rest of them build themselves up. And that's what another reason why Solskjaer has failed. He never built himself up. So I think it's a very sensible move from these players right now. I really do.
I can definitely see Solskjaer probably coming out again. I'm still Ollie in, just like every rival fan is realistically. But if he can come up, he can come up. I mean, in my sense, he's not doing a bad job, and I'm gonna keep saying that because I love Ollie at the wheel. So yeah.
I appreciate that. Listen, top man Matt, speak to you soon, my brother. Thank you very much indeed. Let everybody that's tuned in this morning, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. It means so much to us here. It really, really does. Do us a big favor before you leave and smash that like button. Very important to the Terrace that you do that. Let's get this stream up past that 400 like mark. That would be amazing. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again